this was mess. Hello and welcome back to the Miscellaneous channel where we do miscellaneous things. I'm Zeleny. I typically cover TV, pop culture, internet trends, and other miscellaneous things on this channel, so subscribe if that's your vibe. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Love is Blind Season 2, specifically the first 5 episodes that dropped on Netflix over Valentine's Day weekend. The wait has been long. It's been about 2 years since Season 1 rocked the nation and the world. It's kind of a nostalgic show to think about because it was just before the pandemic hit, and it felt like almost predicting the pandemic because these couples were getting engaged through a wall, like social distanced or in a quarantine seeming situation. So it has this special place in TV history. It's like a photo taken minutes from disaster. Based on how ridiculous this season is looking so far, I will probably do a part 2 to this video after the finale airs. I'm going to talk a little bit about Love is Blind Season 2, what I found out during my research first. Later in the video, I'll discuss the couples that we have so far, and just sort of what I think about them, if they're a good match or not, and if I think they'll end up together. I'm going to put chapters down below if you want to skip to just that part of the discussion with spoilers and everything. But let's start with my usual question: is Love is Blind Season 2 worth watching? This show is the epitome of trashy reality TV. I think the big question here is people that watch Season 1 wondering how Season 2 is and if it's worth their time. I would say yes, if you watched Season 1 and liked it, you will probably like Season 2. It is just as ridiculous. It's the same trashy TV show. Lots of drama, lots of conflict. Like I mentioned, Love is Blind became a huge phenomenon, especially on social media. It was a big talked about show. Love is Blind is a show where couples meet without seeing each other. They talk for about a week or several days with a wall between them in these little rooms called pods. They get to know each other just over their voices. If they like each other, the man will propose. It is a heteronormative show and it is only male and female couples. The man will propose to the woman through the wall. If she says yes, they get officially engaged and then they get to see each other for the very first time. Most of the show actually follows their engagement. The pods are only the first couple of episodes, and the finale of the show takes place at the wedding of the contestants. This show is not just about finding an engagement. The finale of The Bachelor, for example, is an engagement usually. This show gets the engagement out of the way really fast, and we follow them for like 4 to 6 weeks. They do a honeymoon, they move in together, they meet each other's families, they fully plan their wedding, and then at the altar is where they make the actual decision to get married or say no. The high stakes of this show are what make it, I think, so popular. Marriage is such a huge commitment. Even an engagement has some weight to it. I've talked a little bit about this before, but I think the success of Season 1 was unprecedented. The producers of the show were just trying to try out a crazy concept that will get attention and social media talking. Season 1 ended up having 2 successful marriages out of it, which just adds this whole level of credibility to this show. Makes it feel like it's real, because so much of the format and premise just sounds so ridiculous and out there. Most people watching it think like this is so fake, this is so just for TV, reality TV. Then you have the Season 1 marriages that just celebrated their 3-year anniversaries, and you're like, shit, like this show actually married 2 couples. Whether you like it or not, it legitimizes the show. These producers had good karma or got blessed, or maybe they just hired actors and they're duping us all. But I think the success of it is what launched Love is Blind to become like a top tier dating reality TV show, like one people are obsessed with. And speaking of obsessed, we are watching a TV show that is produced, and we don't know, it could all be fabricated. When I and when you are criticizing these people that we think of as real people, we are criticizing an edit on a reality TV show. We're criticizing the persona they put on for the cameras. The way I like to look at it is that I'm criticizing sort of the character of this person on the show. There's quite a few people in Season 2 that come off very poorly, very bad. And when I say like this is a bad person, mean the character on the show. I don't mean the real person, because I don't know anything about who they are in real life. The same goes for like someone I say is like a great person or a funny person. In real life, they're an asshole a lot of the time. So it's very hard to actually judge the real person behind whoever these people are portraying on reality TV. And I'm just reminding y'all because y'all like to get wild. And I am going to critique these people, but it's the person they played on the show. I don't know who they are in real life. That's just my little PSA and disclaimer for y'all that feel so passionate about the show. I get it. I am passionate too. We're seeing a TV show at the end of the day, so I consume it as such. So from here on out, I'm going to suspend my disbelief and pretend like I am critiquing the real people that are on this show. This is your spoiler alert if you haven't watched through the first 5 episodes. In the first 5 episodes, the pods were episodes 1, 2, and part of 3, and then they moved on to the honeymoon in Cancun, where the couples got to know each other. And then episode 5, we see them get to their new apartments in Chicago and start moving in together, but we don't see too much of that, and that's going to be left for future episodes. For season 2 of Marry Me, we had 5 episodes drop on February 11th. This week on February 18th, there will be 4 new episodes, and then there will be a finale special the following Friday. I had forgotten this about Love is Blind, but they like take singles from like one city or one area, and that makes a lot of sense because if you got people from all over the country, it'd be like a mess to try to figure out where to live and get them to work out afterwards. Season 1 comprised of people from Atlanta, and season 2 had people from Chicago. After the pods, we were left with 6 couples to follow. I have read up online that there were 2 extra couples that got engaged at the pods that did not make the cut for the show. I actually read an interview with the creator that said like, yeah, they just didn't have an interesting story or broke up or something, and they were just the least interesting. It was pretty like savage. Also, while we're talking about pod people that didn't make it, I think the most noteworthy person from the pods was a girl named Trisha that was just thinking all the guys were after her and was talking a lot about her large Instagram following. We didn't see much of her beyond that because I don't think any guy was interested after those conversations. So our first couple to get engaged is Danielle and Nick. Danielle and Nick showed a lot of promise in the beginning. They had a lot of chemistry in the pods and were really into each other. They had no like other interests like some others. They were satisfied with each other's looks as well. They got kind of unexpectedly rocky as time went on. Once they got to Paradise, it started unraveling for them. Nick is super into organic stuff, like to the point that it's annoying. I mean, it might work, the toothpaste he makes, it's just too much. Like, he feels very like a written character. The way he says like everything organic, it feels like a comedy script. It doesn't feel like a real person. It's kind of weird. Something about his personality is just strange. Maybe he is just quirky, but to me it just feels a little creepy at times. And there's nothing wrong with liking organic stuff. I dabble in an organic apple here and there, but the way he just says it over and over, he's just a little strange. Danielle is not into the hippie thing at all, and she's kind of reacting how I'm reacting right now. But there's a certain point, Danielle gets food poisoning and Nick mingles with the rest of the couples. They have their mingle in Paradise. I feel like going forward, Love is Blind is going to keep adding more and more mingle factor between the cast to stir up that drama that has been happening, because I just feel like this show is going to evolve into a lot more intermingling, and there will be a moment where a couple like leaves their partners for each other, and I think that's what they want. I don't know if it's going to happen in this season, but it could. So anyway, I was talking about Nick and Danielle. Nick went to mingle with all the other couples and came back to Danielle. I thought it was nice. He was telling her all the chisme, all the gossip. He was like, oh, it was fun and cool to see everybody, but I was just wanting to come back as soon as I could, and it seemed like he did. So she got kind of mad at him, and it sounds like she was having some sort of panic attack. We learned a lot later. He just didn't respond well to it, and he seemed pretty freaked out by all of it. I think the part where Nick and Danielle showed the most toxicity, more on Nick's side for this. They were talking about their pets, and Nick said that he has a dog and she has a cat, and that they're gonna all live together, yay. When she says she has a cat, Nick is like, is the cat gonna get along with Fluffy? I don't know what his actual dog's name is, because Fluffy doesn't like other dogs, and I don't think they're gonna get along. Like, he was just like, not even a discussion about whether, like, how to compromise on that in any way of, like, your cat's probably just as important as my dog is to me. Like, honestly, the men this season are really trying me. They are so annoying for the most part, and Nick is one of them. He just seems a little bit douchey. I think he's being outshined by the bigger douche of the season. I think you can guess who. That is a big red flag about the dog, not even thinking about her perspective of, like, how they can make them get along, and she seemed optimistic that they'd get along. Overall, I don't think that couple's gonna make it. I think they started out strong in the pods but quickly got rocky, and in a way that just does not seem healthy. I was reading a little bit on the fan Reddit post for this. Some fans were theorizing that perhaps they have very different political beliefs, and that he's a lot more left and she's a lot more right. I don't know if I believe in that theory. I mean, I think the organic stuff, like, it's not just a liberal thing or a leftist thing to like organic stuff too much. So I'm not sure on that theory, but that is a theory floating around with the fans. I just don't like Nick that much. I don't really care one way or the other about Danielle. So our second couple is a controversial one, probably the most controversial. I don't know. There's a lot of controversial ones. Next we have Deepti and Abhishek, nicknamed Shake. Man, I think Shake is going down in history. I mean, Love is Blind has had a few villains here and there, but Shake makes me miss Jessica dearly because this guy is so obnoxious, and already everybody is comparing him to Tom Haverford of Parks and Rec. This man is Tom Haverford IRL. He's very superficial. He is just an asshole, straight up. Who knows how he's in real life, but in the show, he is a complete asshole. His first big moment is that he's trying to get information about the physical appearance of the girls. He's asking them if he can lift them on his shoulders, if they work out. He's asking what size clothes they wear, if he were to shop for them. He also is another one that feels like written by comedy writers. Like, he feels like satire. Literally, he's written by Mike Schur or whoever wrote on Parks and Rec. It's funny. I mean, it's not funny because he's an asshole. But I do appreciate having a villain. I guess that's the one redeeming factor, that Shake is causing reality TV drama that causes a visceral reaction from us. Like, it's not boring, at least. It's funny because he starts off extremely superficial, asking these questions, and then, like, a couple days later, him and Deepti get sort of vulnerable with each other, and then he's suddenly not superficial anymore and he's good. Which, it's like, someone doesn't just cure fat phobia in a day. It's not this is not how it works. Obviously, once he sees Deepti, he goes right back to his superficial ass beliefs and is not attracted to her anymore. He's also often referencing how he likes blonde women, and he's just very derogatory towards Deepti. More when she's not there. He's fake as fuck when he's in her presence, but he's telling all the guys that he's not attracted to her. It's interesting because I feel like what happened with them after they saw each other post pods, I think this is what they expected from the original season of Love is Blind more. I think when they thought of this concept, they were like, yeah, we'll make them fall in love behind a wall, and then when they see each other, and if they're not the type of look they like, they're gonna hate it, and that's gonna be our drama for the reality show. But then season 1, that didn't really happen, probably because they cast a lot more like model looking people. But it's funny how in season 2 we're seeing a lot more of like the disappointment post pods than we saw in season 1. So yeah, I think Shake and Deepti are obviously doomed. Like, there's absolutely no way in hell they are getting married. Deepti deserves so much better. The post I was reading on Reddit, she was getting a lot of love from the fans. A lot of, like, she's kind of the best person on the cast, and she's deserves so much better, and that's exactly how I was feeling as well. Like, for most of these women, I'm like, you can do better, girl. But especially for Deepti, like, she is a very successful and beautiful woman, and cool and confident, and I'm just like, her and Shake make me sick. I hate them. No one wants them to end up together for her own sake. Also, Shake is a veterinarian, which feels very like when Tom Haverford gets a puppy to try to like get a girl to like him. Abhishek's Instagram name is literally the puppy dog, and he often uses dogs for his photos. Just based on his superficial persona on this show, I think he is using the dogs to get the ladies' attention. I think that's a classic and foolproof trick for most women. Shake is not only a veterinarian though, he is a house DJ, which to me was a clear giveaway. Like, the guy is there to get famous. The only reason he is not leaving after the engagement and after seeing Deepti and knowing he's not attracted to her. If you're a DJ, what better exposure than getting on a reality TV show? Honestly, I'm feeling that energy a lot from the cast this season, and it's inevitable with reality TV, with these shows that are huge. People are looking at it and looking to get cast, you know, with dollar signs in their eyes to get into this influencer status. It's the elephant in the room, not here for the right reasons, they say on The Bachelor, yet everyone's there for the not right reasons. And Shake gives me the vibe that he's there to promote his DJ career, probably also to become more famous and get girls to DM him. I don't know. I'm just wildly speculating at this point. It's funny because his promo quote is like trying to throw people off the scent trail. I really hope that the person on the other end is looking for something special and not just looking for a step up in their social media. He's literally like, look over there. He's like, oh, if I say I want someone that's not looking for social media fame, no one will suspect I'm there for them. It's just silly that that is his quote when he gives me the most vibes of like, I just want to get famous. All in all, Shake and Deepti, I don't think they're gonna make it, and I hope not for her sake, and I hope she finds an excellent guy that is not this one. The comment he said about her feeling like an ant is just so icky. He is truly like a big villain this season, and as I am grateful for the drama that a villain brings, I don't like that Deepti's emotions are at stake. Oh my god, I can't believe Shake called a cenote a vibey underground cave. So the next couple that got engaged was Natalie and Shayne. They're sort of the it couple of paradise. This is another pair that I'm like, girl, you can do better. Please, Natalie, no, you can do better than this 12-year-old in a 32-year-old's body. He has like a cartoon character voice. He looks like Johnny Bravo. He's Johnny Bravo. Just like so concerned with his looks. He's begging for compliments at every turn, and he doesn't understand sarcasm or joking sense of humor. He gets so mad whenever Natalie says anything remotely sarcastic or joking. She's like obviously kidding, and he's like, why would you say that? That is kind of mean and annoying, and stop doing that. And he is clearly, I think, self-obsessed. And also, okay, so backing up to the pods, Shayne was dating two women in the pods, Natalie and Shaina. Him and Natalie had a very typical, you know, a little bit of romance and flirtiness relationship. And him and Shaina, he was just like thirsting after her in those pods, like so hard, and just like obsessed with the crop tops, and just like every single time, what are you wearing? I can't do his voice. What is his voice? Let me see. Yeah. That's all I can get out. I thought he was gonna go for Shaina, because when there's an option for a man to pick romance or sex, he always goes for sex. We saw it in season 1, Barnett and Amber. I feel like Barnett had more of a sexual connection with Amber and an emotional one with Jessica. Oh, he went with the sex, and I was so shocked he didn't. I think it's because they had kind of these misunderstandings, and he thought Shaina wasn't into him. When he found out, it was too late, but now it's caused this weird, like, unfinished business that we still don't know after episode 5. Shayne had a very distinct voice, sounds like a cartoon. I would not consider him a himbo. I hope no one considers him a himbo, because he is definitely not charming in the way that a himbo is, not to me at least. Also, he was so two-faced and fake towards Natalie when he literally became her boyfriend and then went to another girl and was like, what are you wearing? And then he would get mad when Natalie was like, wait, what the hell? You're talking to other girls, but we're together. And he's just like, oh, the point is to date other people in this game. And it's like, yeah, girl, but you don't become official with someone until you're sure. He's just so stupid and not in a himbo fun way. Just in a frat bro, like, ignorant way. I mean, once Natalie sees the footage of him and Shayna, she's gonna be like, what the fuck? I mean, I'm almost certain they're not still together. Like, there's no way. Natalie seems like a very mature and sophisticated lady, like, ready to settle down, you know, more normal. Like, Natalie seems like a person I would know in real life, you know? These two are just one of those matches that just, like, feels like it makes no sense and there's no compatibility. Like, she seems smart too, like her humor is smart, and he's just so confused. He literally thinks she's insulting him, like, in a malicious way. Like, they actually got along more than I expected in Paradise, since they had such a tumultuous pod journey that I was surprised. They at least had a good time in Paradise. They enjoyed sex a lot. People are comparing them a lot to Barnett and Amber in that way. For them, I feel like they're a couple that are having a great time just because they like each other physically. But once they get to the real world, they're gonna find all of their differences and they're gonna be unbearable. Shayne and Natalie, I think, are doomed. I think she's also someone that needs to go find herself a normal and nice and mature guy and not some weird stunted frat bro. So him and Shayna are unfinished business, but we'll talk about Shayna next. Shaina and Kyle got engaged next, and this was mess. Just why? Why is Kyle being so persistent? It's annoying and stupid of him. This is a couple that I feel like are just saying yes to things just to stay on the show longer and be in more episodes because there's no way. Like, Shayna seemed normal at first, and I thought she would be a really great match with Shayne because she also felt like an immature type of girl. But then she brought out the religion thing, which became her huge trait. It was wild because with Shayne, Shayna was like, I want to have sex 5 times a day. How's that work out for you? Let's have sex at all times. And then she gets to one of the final dates with Kyle and is like, what religion are you? And he's like, I'm atheist. And she's like, oh no. And then he's like, do you believe in evolution? And she's like, no, I don't believe in evolution. And he's like, but that's science. And she's like, so is mine. And he's like, no, it isn't. Literally, it isn't. Jesus does not approve of sex 5 times a day to someone you're not married to. And something tells me if Shayne had proposed to her, she would be holding that promise of 5 times a day in paradise. It just feels a little strange to be such a slutty Christian. And I say slutty with love. Like, that's the cool part about her, that she's slutty. The Christian part is the confusing part because it's like a slutty Christian. But yeah, Shayna understands that they're never gonna see eye to eye on this, and that's a big deal because it's their core beliefs. And honestly, to an extent, she's right. Like, I don't think her and Kyle are a good match just on this. If she is that extreme on religion and he is a science-believing atheist, then that makes sense that she's not into it. Like, but Kyle still proposes, and she says yes because I assume she wants to stay on the reality show a little longer. In Paradise, they're still rocky. It's ridiculous because their dynamic feels very off balance. She's only 3 years older than him, but the age disparity feels more intense, or he feels kind of younger than he is. He's 29. Maybe he's just smitten with her, and that's bringing out like a youthful, like, crush type energy from him. I think the big thing is that he broke his vegetarianism after 8 years, which I think is wild. Like, no one's worth that. Nobody. He ate steak even though he'd been a vegetarian for 8 years, and then she didn't really bat an eye. She didn't care. I think that interaction says what their dynamic is like. I mean, she leaves, straight up is like, I want to sleep in separate rooms, and then leaves Mexico that night without even talking to him, that we saw. We didn't see her talk to him at all. And then he left. At the very end, in episode 5, we see them meet up in Chicago and kind of decide to keep giving it a try. He asks, like, oh, where's your wedding ring? Because she's not wearing it. She's like, why are you being rude? Which, I think this interaction is producer heavy, like, edited or something, because that felt like a weird exchange. A lot of people online that I've seen are criticizing this moment, like, because he proposed to her with his mother's engagement ring, like a family heirloom moment, while everyone else just got a new ring. So it's a ring with emotional weight to it. But I just feel like there's something missing to that interaction that they're not telling us. Like, I don't know. I think production must have given the ring back, or production has it, or maybe there was more dialogue. There's something missing here, and I can't put my finger on it. She does treat him like shit, though. I'm not, otherwise, like, she's pretty condescending to him. She keeps emphasizing their core beliefs difference, which that I agree with. So Kyle, I think, is being too persistent with her. I think trying to make it work. I feel like he's just trying to get on the show. There's no other reason to insist this hard on a woman that doesn't like you and is an extremist Christian that you don't agree with. Like, that's too many deal breakers for him to not have ulterior motives. That's my guess, even though Kyle seems like one of the nicer guys. But that couple is obviously doomed. Like, they're already broken up pretty much. I feel like production is just trying to get them to try just for the show purposes, maybe. Maybe it's not even Kyle trying to get camera time, and it's just the producers trying to tell them, like, just try it. Just try it with each other, because they know that conflict is going to be interesting TV. This couple feels like the most shaky and producer heavy and the most doomed, even more doomed than some of the more obvious ones. So the next couple engaged is Mallory and Salvador, the Hispanic couples. It's kind of weird how this season we got a lot of like people of similar cultural backgrounds getting together. We got an Indian couple, we got a couple white couples, we got a Hispanic couple, we got a black couple. I do think cultural background is a big thing to unify someone, especially in like a speed dating situation. I know if I found a fellow Latino person, I'd be like, hey, like, I would remember them, I would click with them probably more, I would have a lot more in common. Mallory, oh, my curly-haired sister, I wanted to like her because she is Hispanic and has curly hair, and it looks great, honestly. I wanted her to drop her hair routine. But man, Mallory went downhill because she was another one that was between two people, and she actually got proposed to by two people, Jarrette and Salvador, and she had to reject Jarrette. The problem was, like, she was pretty sold on Salvador, but once she saw him in person, she was not as into him, or just didn't click with him, like didn't feel chemistry, which is awkward because she's acting like she is all fine and dandy and likes him a lot. And that's, I think, where her big issue lies. Her big moment too in Paradise was when the couples were intermingling and meeting each other, and she got to meet Jarrette. Shayne didn't get to meet Shaina, so we didn't get that drama yet. We're gonna get it later, I'm sure. But Mallory and Jarrette got to meet at that little mingling party, and they had kind of an intimate conversation where he brought up how he would have chosen a gold ring for her, and she's really loved that because Salvador didn't know what color ring. He got her the wrong color ring, actually. So she's kind of second guessing her decision to reject Jarrette after this party. Salvador has come off, I think, as the best guy. The fan reaction to him is very positive that I've seen. He just seems very mature, and he definitely gave me that vibe with every conversation he had with Mallory after they got engaged. He kept reassuring her, like, it's okay if you're nervous, like, this is a weird situation and I feel weird too, and like, let's see how things go, like, no pressure. Like, he was just very mature in his communication, and I think that's a rare thing to find, especially in a show like this where they just cast a bunch of crazy. So Salvador is over here saying the right things and being very authentic but calm and reassuring, while Mallory is second guessing things and not into him that much, even though they do seem to have sex, so I think they're into that. I don't know. Mallory's low point and worst moment was the final discussion we see in episode 5, when after they move in together, he's trying to clear the air about her feelings towards Jarrette and if there's anything there and if he should be worried about it. But then she just turns the thing around at him and is like, I don't even know if you care about me. I don't even know if you actually like me or want to get married to me. The fight is because she made a comment that, like, if we don't get married at the end of this and whatever, it's fine. And he was concerned about that and is bringing it up. It's bad. This is a bad conversation. A lot of the fans I was seeing were picking it apart. This is a bad look for Mallory. And especially with such a nice guy. So far, like Salvador, he honestly hasn't displayed any red flags. Every single one of the other guys has had red flags. He sings and plays the ukulele and serenades her, and we see that in the preview. He serenades her again. A+ for Salvador so far, A+ boyfriend, and sad Mallory is not reciprocating and honestly being pretty shitty in her responses when he does bring up a concern in a very calm and very like put together. Honorable mention to Sal trying to pick up Mallory and dropping her straight mouthful of sand into the ocean. I don't think they're gonna go through with the marriage. I just don't think she's into it enough, and she would be dumb to let him go, but also I kind of want him to find someone better. Honestly, Team Salvador and Deepti getting together and just being great together because they're the cutest and the nicest and the most normal. And finally, our last couple is Iyana and Jarrette. This is my favorite couple to watch because they have the most chemistry and seem the most compatible. Like right when they first saw each other after the pods, they meet for the first time. Jarrette was the only man who like went in for a hug first. Instead of like going tongue first into the woman's mouth, he hugged her, he waited, he like held her, and then she made the final little move to kiss him. That whole interaction made me automatically start rooting for them. All of their conversations after that were just kind of wholesome. They were the most wholesome couple. And I feel bad because I feel like Jarrette does have some red flags. The elephant in the room with them is that Iyana was his second choice, and she is aware of that, and I really thought she was going to walk out after she learned that, but she didn't. She still said yes. I was surprised she said yes. So it's hard because I'm rooting for this couple, and I just like them together. I like how they talk to each other. Like, it feels like they're comfortable. They feel like real people, and they feel the most authentic out of this whole cast. But the red flags of Jarrette flirting a little bit with Mallory, kind of testing the waters. That was the big red flag, and I feel bad for Iyana because she's another one that is really cool and seems really sweet and nice, and she's put up with a lot being a second choice. Like, that's a horrible feeling. I'm like sort of rooting for them, and I think they have hope, just compared to how everyone else is like arguing about the dumbest shit. They seem like they have cute chemistry, but I don't know, man. I don't know if they can make it to the end. I just hope Jarrette doesn't mess it up and can understand that Mallory is, I don't know. He really liked that Mallory's into sports, and I'm just like, okay. The audience is calling Mallory a pick-me already, which, I don't know. What's the difference between liking sports and being a pick-me? I think she's on the line. I don't know if she's fully a pick-me in my opinion, but we'll have to see how the rest of the episodes play out. Honestly, this season does not have a Lauren and Cameron situation because none of the couples are really like perfect. They were just an anomaly, I swear. So this season is bringing the drama. And those are my predictions for who's going to make it. Basically nobody. I don't think anyone's going to make it. I think I said no for all of them, didn't I? I'm hoping for Iyana and Jarrette. Maybe Mallory and Sal can work out if she wakes up like in episode 6 like immediately about how good a guy he is. All the others seem doomed. I think Shayne and Natalie might be the surprise that they'll go through with it and work out. But oh my god, like they seem so different. And she deserves so much better. I think this season was cool. It was a little more diverse in the cast. And also, the cast looks regular. Like, they do not look like supermodels as much as they did last season. And that's kind of cool because it's more true to the concept of Love is Blind and not seeing somebody or judging it for looks. Honestly, the group activities between the cast, they look like your average corporate America company retreat, like just regular people that you would work with. Those are the couples, and those are the first 5 episodes of Love is Blind season 2. Please let me know what you think of this new cast, these couples. Do you think any of them are gonna make it? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear about it. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed. I put out new videos twice a week about TV, pop culture, internet trends, and other miscellaneous things. And you can follow me at Miscellaneous on Instagram or Twitter to find out about new videos, or just turn on the bell notification here on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.